Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be discussing with you quick ways to use plugins generate your color styles while designing your design system or while setting up a new project. So without further delays, let's get started so I don't make this tutorial overly long. Alright, so the first thing that I'm going to do is to rename my documents. So I'll rename it to color styles. Now, this is the best practice. Always ensure you name your documents properly. And now this is going to be our notes for this tutorial. We're going to be discussing this, the colors that you need, and as well as the plugins that you need to easily generate a color style. Alright, so let's get started. Now, for every design that you want to work on or whatever design system you want to use, you want to set up, these are the important colors that you need. These are the important colors that you need. You need a primary color, you need a secondary color, a tertiary color, which is of course optional. You need a success color for success, warning, as well as error. Now, if you take a look over here, it says colors 4, 5, and 6 are mostly used for forms to indicate form states. What that means is that when the user is registering, like the registration page, the login page, or within the app, if the user is to make an input, there should be an error to there should be a color to tell the user that whatever he or she is doing is correct, when there's a warning or when there's an error. So these colors are used to indicate such states. The tertiary color is optional. So we're not going to go into color psychology in this tutorial. This is just a tutorial on how to set up a color system. Now there's a particular lesson that I will drop the tutorial later, so if you're new to my channel, ensure you hit the subscribe button, and if you're an old user, thank you so much for coming back. So do ensure you turn on the notification bell so you get notified whenever I drop that tutorial on color psychology. So without further delays, let's get started. So the primary color will be the brand color. Primary, secondary, and tertiary color, these are all part of the brand colors, but the primary color is the most important. This is what you have on your CTE and on like 90 or 80% of the website, web app, or mobile application. So this is very important. Now, after you have chosen your primary color, you can easily generate your secondary color, tertiary colors, success, warning, and error colors automatically using the plugins that I'll be discussing with you today. So let's head over to our exercise page, and let's create a color swatch using the rectangle. Hold your shift key and voila. So let's select our primary color. Now, like I said earlier, there is a particular tutorial on color psychology. I'm not going to be going into that today, but if you are designing for a fintech app, you should be using blue color or purple color, which means rich or royalty. If you are designing for health, you should be using something like green or sky blue. If you are designing for energy, something like red. There are colors for tech is blue. Blue is kind of like universal. You have the blue ocean, the blue sky, so it's something that we see every day. But like I said earlier, I'm not going to be going into color psychology today, so let's just go ahead and pick any random primary color. Blue is my favorite, so let's pick blue. Now we've chosen this as our primary color. So how do we generate our color style using this primary color that we have chosen? So the first plugin that we'll be discussing today will be, let's head over to the tutorial notes. This is color designer. All right, so that will be the first plugin. So you can install that from the Figma community. I'll leave a link to all of these plugins that I'll be using in this tutorial. I'll leave the link in the video description. So just click on the video description. You see the list of the 5 plugins that I'll be using. Ensure you stick to the end of this tutorial so you don't miss out anything. And don't skip it. If you skip it, you might miss a step, and then you start asking questions later. All right, so I'll leave a link to all of the plugins in the video description. You don't have to worry about yourself memorizing the whatsoever. I'll leave the link so you can easily install it from the Figma community. All right, so color designer will be our first plugin. This is it. So this is color designer, and we're not going to be generating things because this plugin actually does not save styles. It just helps you pick colors. So none of these colors right here now will be saved to our design system, and as you can see, there's no page, there's no button right rather that says generate styles or save styles. No, it doesn't help you. It just gives you the color codes, and you can click on it and copy the color code and go over and save it to your style, which is very tedious. That's not what we want to do. We just want to know what our primary color, our secondary color, our tertiary colors, success colors, warning colors, and error colors are. So in order to get, okay, what we'll do, since we need 6 colors, instead of having to create a color swatch every single time, what I'll do is I will I'm going to duplicate this, so we'll have the 6 colors. All right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these are the 6 colors that we'll need. So in order to make everything well arranged, I'm going to put them in an auto layout, excuse me. So let's name this brand colors. All right, so we already have a primary color. We're not going to modify that. Let's go into the secondary color and run that plugin again. So right click, plugins, and go to color designer. So we already have a primary color. Let's get our secondary color by going to color harmonies. As you can see, the first category here is complementary. So this color right here is the complement of this color, which is the primary color. So in order for us to change it, we click on this plus right here and copy the color code, close this and head over here and put that color code in here and hit enter. So now we have a primary color, we have a secondary color. Let's get our tertiary color. So let's run that plugin again. Ctrl Alt P shortcut to open your last used plugin. Note that Ctrl Alt P is the shortcut that you use to run your last used plugin. So instead of you to right click, come over here to plugins and start looking for it, you just hit Ctrl Alt P. All right, so let's go over to the color harmonies again, and for us to get the tertiary, we click on split complementary. Now, like I told you earlier, the tertiary color is optional. It's optional, you don't have to do this, but the primary and secondary colors, it's a must. It doesn't matter if you're even using a monochromatic color system, it's a must. You need the secondary color. All right, so this right here, we can use either of these for the tertiary color, but since this is kind of green and we're also going to be using it for our success states, we are going to pick this as tertiary color. So click on the plus, copy the color code, close this, and head over to the properties bar and paste the color code in there, and voila, we have our tertiary color. So the other colors that we need right now are our success, which is green, and warning, which is amber, and our error color, which is red. So let's get to set up. Click on this, Ctrl Alt P for the lashes plugin, color harmonies. We go to split complementary. Okay, let's go to triad. All right, so here we have our success color. Let's use this green. Copy, close, and here our success. Let's go get the amber, which is our warning color. Color harmonies, split complementary, no, not the square. All right, so we use this for warning. Copy color, close, and put the color code in there, and then the error color harmonies, rectangle. Okay, all right, so we're going to be using this. Click on the plus, copy the color, close, and put the color codes in here. All right, so we have our 6 colors, but these are styles that I generated earlier, so let me just delete this. We don't need this right now. Let's delete those. All right, so these are brand colors. So how do we set up our design system, our color system from these colors without doing it manually and within a very short time? So we're going to be heading over to the second plugin, which is StyleList. Like I told you earlier, I'll leave a link to all of these plugins in the video description. So let's head over to StyleList plugins, and we have our StyleList plugin right here. All right, so as you can see, this plugin doesn't work just for colors but for typography as well, but we'll more concerned about colors right now. So let's head over to the color tab, and we're going to what we're going to do is that we're going to highlight our primary color right here, and maybe copy the color code, paste it in here, because that's what we are concerned about. Paste it in there, and we're going to name it properly. So let's change it from blue to primary, so know that this is our primary color. And then we'll head over and click. You can customize the color styles over here. You can change the number of swatches, which is this color 1 2 3 4 5, from light to dark, which is your shade and your tints. Okay, so you can increase it from 10 to 12 to 18, whichever. You can customize the rest of them over here. But what we're going to do right now is that we are going to create all the styles once. So now we've already saved the primary color. We're going to click on this plus right here, and then we are going to add the secondary, and then let's head over to copy the color code for the secondary color. Copy. Now as you can see over here, the secondary and the tertiary colors are the secondary and the warning colors are kind of like the same. So what I'll do right now is that we're going to be using a tint. If we've generated a style, we're going to be using a tint of this particular color, so they don't look too much alike. Or instead of that, we can as well change our secondary color. So let's go to color designer and look for an alternative. Let's look for an alternative. Let's take this color code and look for an alternative of this tertiary color. Sorry about that, supposed to click on that. All right, color harmonies, analogous. So let's use this one instead. So let's click on the plus, copy the color. Let's use this as our secondary color. Paste. All right, so now they're different. Now. All right, so let's go back to the color, the style list plugin. Head over to the color, and then let's pick our primary color. Let's copy this and paste it in here. Name it primary. Okay, so that was for the primary. Now this is for the secondary. So let's copy the color code for the secondary. Copy, paste it in here, and let's write secondary here. Okay, so let's head over to this, copy the color code, paste it in here. Let's name it tertiary. Okay, click on the plus. I think we can use a maximum, we can generate a maximum of 3 styles here. You can generate a maximum of 3 styles, but let's just do that first. Let's see if it actually works or if it's overlapping. So we've gotten our tertiary. Let's get success. Let's just test it out. Copy the code, paste it in here, and let's say success. Create three palettes. All right, so this can generate a maximum of 3 styles at a go. All right, I just realized that now, and I thought we could generate a maximum number of. Okay, well, I guess this means we'll have to wait until the last plugin which actually does all this in a go. All right, so let's undo this, and set up primary, secondary, and tertiary. All right, so we'll copy this and hit the plus and say secondary. Put the color code in here, add another one and say tertiary. Come over here, copy the color code, paste it in here, and create three palettes. All right, so you can see from the light to the darker portion, and we have automatically created the color style, something that would have taken us about 30 minutes to set up manually with a lot of stress. We just set up everything automatically. So if you head over to the color styles over here, you see primary, you see everything automatically generated. You go to secondary, everything generated automatically, as well as tertiary. So we'll use the same method to set up success, warning, as well as the error state. The same process. So you're just going to have to, I don't want to do that, I want you to do it, I want you to get to know how to do this. So we're not going to do that. Just use the same method that we use to generate these three styles and generate the success, the warning, as well as the error states. All right, having said that, let's move on to the next plugin and see how it's better. So let's go to Metacolor. Let's go to Metacolor plugin. So let's head over here, right click, plugins, and Metacolor. Now this particular plugin is for material design, specifically for material design. So what it does is that you pick your primary color, you copy the codes, and you put it in here. You put it there. So you name your color, let's say primary color. We can't use just primary because we already generated a primary color style using the StyleList plugin. So if we just use only primary, it might override that. I've not actually tried that. You can do that, you can perform that experiment, but that's why I added this color to make it different. All right, so we have our primary color, palette type primary. We can as well select complementary, we can as well select analogous secondary, and the rest of them. But right now we want to generate the primary style as well as accents, as well as make paint style. So this make paint styles actually means that the style will be saved to the style section of your workspace. So if you don't take this, the accents will just be generated. So you have all of these colors right here, you have all of these colors right here, but they won't be saved to your file, your design system. So that's why it's important for you to take this make paint styles. All right, so having done that, we'll click on create palettes. All right, so you see the beauty of this. It has been created, it has been created. So this is the color that has been generated using the Metacolor. And if you unclick this and head over, you see it right here, primary color. You see it actually generates more compared to the StyleList plugin. You see that? All right, so this is what you do, but this one is more stressful because as opposed to the StyleList plugin that can generate three colors at a go, this one can only generate one at a go. So you haven't done this, you go over and do the secondary, do the tertiary, do the success, the warning, as well as the arrow. All right, so you use the same method to generate the other color. So we're done with that. Let's delete this and move on to the next plugin in the list. All right, so the next color in the list will be the palette plugin. Sorry, not color plugin. All right, so let's head over to our plugins and open the palette plugin. All right, I'm just going to collapse this. Now this particular plugin does not generate a color style for you. No, it does not. Rather, it generates other colors that you can actually use in your design system, that you can work along with for fields, for shapes, for images, for sections. So you pick a particular color, which is the primary color, you pick it, and let's have once you choose it, you can then run the plugin, and these are the other colors that you can use with your brand color. As you can see, this particular one is right here. This is a shade of the primary color, and you'll find it from this StyleList over here. You see that? So these are other colors that you can work with in your design. So you can randomize this. You can just click on this empty space to change to the dark mode. somewhere around here. Oh, I just saved it. I didn't want to do that. This is it right here, but I don't want to do that. Let's undo that. I don't want to save it just yet. I want to show you how you can actually create more of it. So Control Alt P. So this is it. You can click here to change it at the bottom of the very first color generated. Just keep clicking and it will randomize it for you. You can set the different standards over here, user interface, which is what we should be doing. You see that? So you just keep clicking and all other variants of the primary color will be generated that you can use for your design. Then once you're satisfied, you click on save and you have this. All right, and if you want to go further, you can then generate a tint and a shades using the StyleList plugin from these colors over here. All right, so we're done with that. Let's move on to the next plugin in the list, and that is the palette here. Now this is my all-time favorite. This is my all-time favorite. It's the best among all of them. So let's, without further delays, let's get started to it. Let's right click on plugins, go to palette here. Now, I love this plugin so much. It's the best. You know what? Let me just show you why it's the best. So what you do, you select your primary color, copy the color code, and you put it in here, paste. You click on add color. You go to your secondary, take the color code, and you put it in here. Add color, go to tertiary. You copy the color code and you put it in here. You add color, you go to success, copy the color code and you add it in here. Add color, copy the warning, that's the color code, and you put it in here. Add color, which is the error, copy the color code and you add it in here. So as you can see from here, if it were the StyleList plugin, most of these colors would have been overridden already. So this saves you the time of having to do 3 and then doing the remaining 3. Just do everything once. You see that? And that's not even the best part of it. You can set the swatches to 6, 12, 8, and when you are satisfied with all the colors that you need to generate, you just click on generate palettes. Now see the magic happen. Can you see this? Can you see this? Isn't this just amazing? And I'm going to walk you through what this actually means. Let's remove this from highlight and see, you see color styles. You see this right here. Now the only problem with this is that it doesn't give you the luxury of giving them particular names like success, warning. That's the only drawback to this plugin, and I'm sure with future updates that will be rectified. So let's explain this, what these values actually mean. Now if you were to hand this style guide over to the developer, they'll know that this particular shade of the primary color, this is the color code. So they don't even have to go to the color section and then start looking for it. They'll just see the color code right here, which is just amazing. And this color, these numbers over here, these are the contrast levels. These are the contrast scores. As you can see, you have to conform to web content accessibility guidelines, which is kind of like a set of guidelines for designers or developers to follow while designing websites, web apps, as well as mobile applications. You can see if you check the contrast colors for the working with black, the contrast score is 13.4, which is amazing. So it's best for you to put a black color on this particular color right here than use white. If you come over here, you see the contrast scores varies. The best is from 10 or from 5 and above, but I personally would recommend using 10 and above. You understand? You see this one right here, this is a white, almost white color, and you see the contrast score is 19.11. If you go further, you see that over here that the color has become darker. It's best to use white than black on such particular colors. All right, you see that, and you can see the contrast scores has been generated for all of the styles that we've generated, every single one of them. So it tells you when to use a black color or a black text on a particular background, and also tells you when to use a white text on a particular background. So thank you so much for watching. If you're new to my channel, ensure you hit the subscribe button, and if you're an old user, thank you so much for coming back. See you in the next tutorial. Goodbye.